She came off as a caring, kind grandma.
A Monterey jury has found the former Sacramento landlady guilty of first-degree murder.
She was very good at getting people to believe her lies.
Her victims, when they entered her boarding house, sign over their benefit and Social Security checks. Social Security Administration will send checks if they haven't learned of their demise yet.
I haven't killed anyone.
So who is lying to me?
An idiot. Horrible police work.
On November 11, 1988, Detective John Cabrera, head of Sacramento's Missing Persons Unit, arrived at 1426 F Street. He was investigating the disappearance of Bert Montoya, a resident of the address. The property operated as a boarding house for vulnerable individuals, including alcoholics, the infirm, and the mentally ill. And Bert had been placed there by a social worker roughly 10 months prior. Detective Cabrera sought to speak with the woman in charge, a seemingly kind elderly caretaker by the name of Dorothea Puente.
Police ask if they can dig in her backyard.
We found an object that we're attempting to remove.
One police officer finds what he believes to be like a gnarled tree root, and after looking a little further, it turns out to be
human remains.
Topping our news tonight, the discovery of a buried body at a Sacramento home.
Well decomposed and about 3 feet under in the backyard.
In 1988, when I was a young police officer, I recalled this story of Dorothea Puente on the national news.
Did your informant tell you that these people may have been poisoned?
That's a possibility, yes.
Certainly there were female serial killers prior to this, but in the media, this really wasn't a thing.
It was hard to digest and hard to believe that someone that gave off that appearance could commit these heinous crimes.
A Monterey jury has found the former Sacramento landlady guilty of first-degree murder.
I worked for the NYPD for 32 years. I have to say that I have never seen a case close to the Dorothea Puente case. She came off as a caring, kind, matronly grandma.
Nobody would question whether she was hiding people in her backyard. She looks like a sweet old lady, but, you know, she's hiding the bodies.
In 1929, Dorothea Puente was born Dorothea Gray in Redlands, California.
She lived a really rough childhood. Both of her parents were alcoholics. They were abusive.
Sexually abused children that are preyed upon tend to become empty vessels, less feeling and less emotional. In Dorothea Puente's case, she becomes a pathological liar, where she will tell tales to get by.
And it's really sad to think about her childhood. But then again, not everybody who experiences sexual abuse and horrible things in their childhood ends up taking advantage of people and killing them.
Her criminal record began in 1948, at age 19, when she was convicted of forgery and served 4 months in jail. And in 1960, she was sentenced to 90 days in jail for prostitution and running a brothel. She was also known for her gambling habit.
The common thread between those three crimes, forgery, gambling, and prostitution, is they require that a person be deceptive at the highest level.
She just became really good at lying and getting what she wanted.
After serving her sentence for prostitution, she assumed a false identity as a nurse's aide. She was beloved and trusted by her community and began caring for elderly clients.
She was very good at getting people to believe her lies.
She talked a great game. Everybody just believed it. And I don't think that would really kind of get you across the finish line today. Somebody's going to eventually suspect that you're full of crap. The elderly are often more trusting of people. They're lonely, they're infirmed, and they want somebody to take care of them. Dorothea preyed on that.
Her scheme was to give her patients, her victims, stupefying drugs to incapacitate them and steal their valuables. And because of her carefully crafted reputation as an upstanding member of the community, no one suspected foul play. But in 1982, Dorothea's plans began to unravel after she met a man named Malcolm McKenzie.
Malcolm McKenzie was just an older man looking for love, and he unfortunately met Dorothea Puente.
They met at a bar and had 2 drinks together before returning to Mackenzie's apartment. When they arrived, he became inexplicably paralyzed.
He can't speak, he can't move, and he is watching Dorothea rob him of all of his valuables. She's taking his coin collection, she's taking checks, she's taking jewelry.
And he's cognitive of all things that are happening. He also has a ring on his finger.
She looked into his eyes and pulled the ring off his finger without remorse.
He eventually comes through the paralysis, reports it to the police.
And Dorothea Puente was arrested. When news of her arrest made the papers, a prosecutor working on Dorothea's case received a call from the children of a woman named Ruth Monroe. They told him they suspected Dorothea wasn't just a thief, but a murderer too. It was early in the year of 1982, only months prior to Dorothea's arrest, when Ruth Monroe and Dorothea became acquainted. Ruth had been dating Harold, a regular at a bar where Dorothea cooked. Harold introduced them and they quickly became friends and business partners, opening a corner cafe together. However, the partnership was one-sided. Dorothea controlled the finances and steadily drained Ruth's money, claiming the business was always near collapse. To make matters worse for Ruth, Harold became terminally ill. Ruth, reluctant to live alone and trusting Dorothea's claims of being a nurse and a friend, moved in with her.
This is a great scenario for her. Ruth's kids love Dorothea. They call her grandma. Ruth has a friend to support her. But at some point, things start to go downhill.
One day, Ruth's son William came to visit and noticed she was holding a drink, an alcoholic beverage made with creme de menthe.
Ruth did not drink. She actually got sick from alcohol, so they found it very strange that she would be drinking.
But what Dorothea really was doing was poisoning her.
And when William visited again the following day, Ruth was sick in bed.
Ruth was pretty much incapacitated. She wasn't moving, she wasn't talking, but there was a tear rolling down her face, and her son just thought that she didn't feel good. He was like, "Don't worry, Mom. Dorothea will take care of you."
But the next day, Ruth was dead. When her children arrived to collect their mother's belongings, all Dorothea gave them was an empty purse.
She had jewelry, she had a little bit of money, all of that was gone, and Dorothea just said, "She gave it to me."
Ruth's autopsy report showed her stomach to be filled with a lethal combination of drugs that, mixed with nothing but a milky liquid, was eventually found to be creme de menthe.
She was able to convince people that Ruth may have taken her own life.
But Ruth's children didn't believe this. They didn't think that she would make that choice for herself, and they felt like something was suspicious about it.
But forensic limitations prevented a homicide ruling. Dorothea was convicted only of grand theft and sentenced to 5 years in prison.
While Dorothea was serving time, she was evaluated by a psychologist at the Department of Corrections. She was minimizing her crimes and removing herself of responsibility from things that she's done. He also called her disturbed and said that she was a danger to society. Though the psychologist recommended that Dorothea was kept on close watch, she was not kept on close watch.
In 1985, after serving only 3 years of her 5-year sentence, Dorothea was released from prison. As a condition of her parole, she was prohibited from engaging in any caregiving activities. Defying these restrictions, she quickly established and began operating an unlicensed boarding house at 1426 F Street. Dorothea once again built a reputation as a reliable caregiver, eventually earning the trust of social service workers who referred tenants to her.
Dorothea's plot, when they entered her boarding house, was for them to sign over their benefit and Social Security checks to her.
In theory, this money would be exchanged for services at the boarding house. It seemed like a more than fair bargain.
Social Security Administration will send checks to a recipient if they haven't learned of their demise yet.
What area would you like to live in a boarding house? You like the country?
No, I don't like it.
It's too quiet for you. You like this area around here?
Yeah.
Judy was outreach for Volunteers of America and a social worker, and she really took a liking to Bert. She wanted to help find him a home, and Dorothea came highly recommended to her.
In February 1988, Judy placed Bert Montoya under Dorothea's care and checked in on him periodically. However, that fall, she was informed that Bert was no longer at the boarding house.
Dorothea said that he went to Mexico.
Ultimately, the social worker isn't convinced.
Judy says, well, if he's not here by Monday or if I don't have a definitive answer, I'm going to report him missing to the police.
The following Monday, Judy received a call at her office. The caller, identifying himself as Don Anthony, claimed to be Bert's brother-in-law and stated that Bert had left the boarding house to live with family. Skeptical of this explanation, Judy investigated further. She reached out to a man she trusted named John Sharp, who was also living with Dorothea.
She asks John, did you go to Mexico? And John tells her nobody went to Mexico, but he doesn't know where Bert is. So Judy asks him if something's going on, and he says yes. She's been digging a lot of holes.
The social worker becomes extremely suspicious, notifies the police.
Police come over, and Dorothea says that Bert went off to Mexico and now he's living somewhere with family, that he's gone, he's not coming back, but don't worry, everything's fine. They ask John that, and he essentially says the same thing. But John passes police a note that says, she wants me to lie to you.
John Sharp was brought in for questioning, while Detective John Cabrera reviewed Dorothea's criminal records. Alarms were raised when he discovered that she was currently on parole. When Cabrera and Dorothea's parole officer arrived to F Street to question her further about Bert's disappearance, Puente admitted she was in violation of her parole for operating a boarding house. A search of the property uncovered numerous pills and empty pill casings, but no definitive evidence linking her to Bert's disappearance. However, Judy had informed the police of John Sharp's concerning remark about holes being dug in the yard.
So when they don't find anything in the house, police ask if they can dig in her backyard.
By shovel in hand, we've uncovered bone with material wrapped around it.
After the initial discovery of human remains, Dorothea was brought in for questioning.
Mr. Sharp says he hasn't seen him for 3 months, but you said the other day.
Yeah,
and the social worker hasn't seen him. So who is lying to me?
I haven't killed anyone.
Then what happened there?
My conscience is not bothering me.
She denied any knowledge of the bodies found behind her home, insisting that her only crime was violating her parole. Nevertheless, authorities now had probable cause to continue their investigation. The following day, as police returned to her property to resume the search, Dorothea approached Detective Cabrera.
She wants to go get coffee at a hotel nearby, and they let her go, which is interesting.
An idiot. Rule number 1 in detective work, crime scene, lock it down. Horrible police work. And I'm being nice.
And shortly after she left the scene, another body was uncovered.
I'm right now judging it as a human remains.
I think that's the head.
And when police attempted to bring Dorothea back from her supposed coffee date, she was gone. A bolo alert was immediately issued for Dorothea Puente.
So a bolo means be on the lookout, and that's basically a memo that police departments send out to other police departments and the media and the public to be on the lookout for this person or this car or this thing. And they didn't know where she was. She could have been in Maine for all they knew. So they sent out this bolo nationwide, and it was quickly picked up in the media, and everyone was looking for Dorothea Puente.
Meanwhile, police continued their excavation. In total, 7 bodies were discovered in the yard. Dorothea's whereabouts were eventually reported by a man named Charles Williams, who had seen her in Los Angeles. After her arrest by the LAPD, Detective Cabrera flew to Los Angeles to personally escort her back to Sacramento.
She's in the car with a detective, and she tells him, I used to be a good person. I mean, it's not a full confession, you know, she's not sitting there going through all the details of everything, but it certainly hints at culpability for something.
Dorothea was ultimately charged with 9 counts of murder. The 7 bodies found in her yard, which included Bert Montoya plus Ruth Monroe, The 9th victim was Everson Gilmuth, a man she had developed a romantic relationship with following her release from prison in 1985. They had first connected as pen pals during her incarceration. After her release, he moved in with her, only to disappear a few months later.
This was a massive trial. Everything that the prosecution had was circumstantial. There was nothing physical that was tying her to the murders, except for the fact that they were all in her backyard. But the defense said that she didn't kill them. They died in their sleep, they overdosed themselves, and she was just so scared because she was on parole.
Defense's contention was that she was a sweet old grandma, and they conceded the fact that she might be a thief and manipulative and a liar, but she was not a murderer.
A deadlocked jury resulted in Puente being convicted on only 3 counts of murder. She was sentenced to life in prison.
Dorothea Puente died in prison in 2011, and she maintained her innocence until that day. I think it's particularly heinous because she was targeting people who needed help.
She was remorseless. She had like a black soul. She just did not care about any of her actions or any of her victims. If someone is studying Dorothea's case, what they can learn is don't judge a book by its cover. Some people have evil at their core.
Just because you are a beloved member of the community and presenting a certain facade doesn't mean that you can't hide deadly secrets.